Hello, and welcome to Japanese craft beer reviews. As we do sometimes, today we're going to look at some brews from the major Japanese breweries. Sometimes they put out a number of beers every year, and I like to keep up with them and see what they're doing. Sometimes the results are great, sometimes the results are not, but it is a fact that they are all four Japanese breweries, and that includes Asahi, Kirin, Sapporo, and Suntory. Some people add Orion, but they're owned by Asahi, Orion in Okinawa. These breweries are all, exceptionally good brewers, and they can make probably anything they want to. Kind of proof of that is if you've ever had Asahi Stout. It's absolutely an exceptional, unusual stout, which actually includes Brett yeast in it. And their lagers are generally clean and clear. Some of the best ones are just wonderful. And unlike the situation in many countries where the large brewers put out junk or cut corners on ingredients, perhaps don't use the best quality. In Japan, generally they do use the best ingredients they can find, and the quality is not bad. So Japanese lager compares very favorably with any say Euro lager, or certainly with the major lagers in the United States, like say Budweiser or Bud Light. And so we're going to take a look today at some beer from Kirin, and this is a series of 6 beers we're going to look at. It's called the Ichiban Shibori series, and today we're going to look at the first one, and then we will look at 5 others. Ichiban Shibori came out in 1990. It was a kind of competition with Asahi Super Dry, which was produced in 1987. And Asahi Super Dry was a beer designed to have very low mouthfeel and to finish crisp and dry. A super attenuated beer, in other words. But of course many people, including myself, find those beers very light and watery. Asahi Super Dry was, and I don't know if it still is, the most popular beer in Japan. You can find it anywhere. It's kind of the Budweiser for beer geeks in Japan, the beer to make fun of. It's not terrible, but it's just not a great beer. In any case, Asahi brought out Ichiban Shibori in 1990, and the name Ichiban Shibori means first press, the first press. And on their website, they make the claim that most brewers blend their first and second press. So the first is supposedly clean and pure, and the second one is bitter and bodied. And one of the goals of these beers is to have low, very light body. But actually, it's not a press. What it really is they're talking about is sparging. So the wort is drawn off, and then water is sprinkled over the wort that has been drained already for a second rinse, kind of, which is sparging. So there's actually no pressure. It's not like wine, where they're pressing the grapes out, that sort of thing. So it's a gravity thing. Any case, we're going to look at 6 of these beers, and in order, you will see the picture which I had at the beginning, and that's the way we're going to do them. And the first one will be Kirin Ichiban Shibori, the first one they brought out. And now we are at the last of the Kirin Ichiban Shibori beers that we're going to look at, 6 of them. And I said I was going to review them in the order of the picture at the beginning. It's not true, I didn't do that. I wanted to keep this one for last. It's the only dark beer in the series. This is called Kirin Ichiban Shibori Kuro Nama. And Kuro means black, and Nama would mean draft beer. Japan they can beer and call it draft. This is a stout at 5%, and on Rate Beer it has 6 ratings at 3.32, and there's some confusion because in some places it's called a stout, in some places it's not. On Untapped as a stout, it has 3,587 ratings at 3.31, and another series of ratings, 898 at 3.29. It's very similar, but they call it Ichiban Kuronama instead of Ichiban Shibori Kuronama. And there's another beer listed as Ichiban Kuronama at 5.5% on Rate Beer with 15 ratings. So kind of confusing, but let's call it a stout. It is an all malt beer, and the malt consists of both foreign and domestic malt and hops, and that's all. I have had this before. And it's almost always on the shelf. So like many of the Ichiban Shiboris, this one is very easy to find. So let's give this one a go, shall we? This is the last of the Ichiban Shibori. Last year, 2 years ago, they made a whole series of Ichiban Shiboris for every prefecture in Japan, 47 prefectures, and so we were scrambling around trying to try as many as we could, but there was almost no difference between them, really. They were touting them as being good for the cuisine of this prefecture or that prefecture, and there wasn't a heck of a lot of difference between them. Okay, so here we go. It pours out very, very dark. I guess you'd call it opaque, dark brown with a finger of solid tan head. And I don't know whether we're going to get through the light any translucency whatsoever. Yeah, only at the bottom of the glass we get some translucency, some mahogany going through, so the body is not completely thick and packed out. Okay, in the nose we get definitely some chocolate. Seems like kind of between milk chocolate and dark chocolate. It's not as strong as dark chocolate and stronger than milk chocolate. Maybe some cola-like smell too. Just it's an interesting nose. Flavor is very similar. Almost tastes like a black lager rather than a stout. It's got the chocolate, and then it moves into something kind of like, I'm gonna say yogurt, or something like that. Something with a light, creamy tang of maybe something like dairy. Bitterness is fairly minimal in this. It's mostly about the malt and the chocolate and maybe some dry, dark fruit. Something like very light raisins, perhaps, or maybe even dark grapes. It's pleasant, very light. Yeah, I don't know if they would call this a stout or not, and they call it just Kuro beer, which is a generic term in Japanese for dark beer, black beer, dark beer. So, yeah, this is one you probably should try. I think it's one of the better in the Ichiban Shibori series. It's called Ichiban Shibori Kuro, 5% alcohol. Give it a go. Yeah, you can find this in many supermarkets and liquor stores. So it's among the series, it's pretty easy to find. So that's it for Kirin Ichiban Shibori. There's one other that I would like to try called Cho Hyojun. I would like to show to you. I've had it before. It's very limited though, and it hasn't come out. I'm not sure if it will come out again this year or not, but I kind of liked it. But I haven't seen it, and if it does come out, I will certainly review it. Hope you're doing well. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.